Guys, if you want to increase your testosterone naturally, you have to look into the aspects of your life that you're not taking full control over. The one aspect that I'm talking about is sleep. First off, just think about a life where exhaustion isn't weighing you down throughout the entire day. You have energy and vibrance and charisma that is going to be able to project much more success in your day. Also, think about the nighttime. Think about that anxiety that sometimes keeps you up at night, that wakes you up in the middle of the night. Imagine that gone. Imagine improving those nights' sleep to be ready for the next day. We just have to work on our circadian rhythm. Our circadian rhythm is like our biological clock, and this clock can be broken down from all the stress, bad eating habits, overtraining, overconsumption, overworking, and all of the bad lifestyle habits that are going to hold you back. So I want to share with you a training I did some time ago for clients about how to create and personalize your own sleep routine. I want to give you the tools to be able to create exactly the routine that is going to fit your life. And if this is the first time you're here on the channel, my name is Stephen Nickel. This is the Wellman lifestyle. It is everything to help educate and inspire you to lead a life of wellness. So in the comments below, I'd love for you to share some of your tactics and some of your sleep habits that you already have, or which ones you're going to incorporate after you view this training. This topic here today is how to develop a proper sleep routine. The reason why I put these slides together is because over the last few weeks talking about recovery, a lot of people have private messaged me, texted me, etc., asking about how to improve the quality of sleep during a time like this with all the stress that's going on and the schedules being bounced around. People are not necessarily sleeping better, nor are they waking up with energy. So I want to put together a few slides and kind of quickly go over a few basics on how to develop a proper sleep routine. When we're looking at sleep, it is one of the most undervalued, underrated factors when considering body composition and performance improvements. What I tend to see a lot of people do is ask the question, how much more can I do? How many more reps can I do? How many more sets can I do? How many more workouts per week can I do? How many more miles can I run? But it doesn't always go towards the physical. It also goes towards the people that are working very hard inside their jobs as well, such as a high-powered executive, somebody who's trying to do more emails, trying to get more work done. How many more hours can we squeeze in there during the week? And what they don't seem to realize is that all of that, as far as putting the gas down, is all predicated on how much recovery you have. And one of the most important factors of recovery is your sleep. This is the first part of the foundation of trying to improve recovery, okay? The biggest thing you want to look at with sleep is improving quality versus quantity, okay? Two examples. You get an individual who's going to sleep for 6 hours versus somebody who's going to sleep for 8 hours. The person who sleeps for 6 hours puts the head down within 5 minutes, falls asleep, doesn't wake up to go to the bathroom, doesn't wake up with mind racing, and sleeps all the way through the night, through the 6 hours, wakes up, has energy. However, the guy with the 8 hours is going to fall asleep, may take 25 to 30 minutes, maybe even up to an hour. Mind is racing throughout before that. And when they finally fall asleep, there's multiple times through the night where they're going to wake up either to go to the bathroom or wake up to, once again, race their mind, thinking about the next day. Maybe there's some stressors, thinking about what's coming forward. And when you look at the two examples, who's going to have a better recovery? And we're going to look at that as the 6 hour guy who's having more quality sleep versus the guy who's just sleeping for more hours, but they're not consistent and they're not high quality hours. So the real thing we need to look at here is how to improve the quality of your sleep. Another part is you can't catch up on sleep during the weekends. There's not no totality of a volume of week of sleep hours, okay? If you sleep 5 on one day, make up a couple hours on another day for 3 hours, so maybe you sleep 8 to 9 hours and then back to 6. There has to be continuity throughout the entire week. You can't just sleep less during the weekdays, and then when you don't have work or don't have obligations on weekends, then you can sleep late and still have the benefits of catching up. This is gonna create a lot of disruption inside the circadian rhythm of the body. It's going to mess with your blood sugar regulation, which can have a whole host of effects later down the road, and a domino effect of different things, which that's more of a different webinar, so I don't even want to talk about that. And then looking at sleep routine as being highly individual. Everybody's on different schedules. Everybody has different needs and different wants and different ways they're going to be pulled in life. You know, for example, the executive versus the athlete versus the parent. Those are the three different types we're going to look at today real quick as far as how to set up a nice little sleep routine for the kind of schedule they're going to be following, or they're going to be able to actually do. There's always your optimal, like do A, B, and C, and you'll be perfect. But then there's reality, and you have to find a way to meet the two worlds together for the individual or the client to have progress within anything that you're going to do when coaching your clients. How to build a sleep routine. Once again, it's highly individual. We have to work around the schedule of the individual that's in front of you. You don't want to overwhelm them. The biggest reason why people don't fall asleep well is, for the most part, I've seen a lot of people stress before they go to sleep at night, whether they're stressing about the future, whether they're stressing about a decision coming up, work, whatever it may be. And now we're worried about this virus taking over our existence at this point. So what you don't want to do when you're first starting out to manage stress is to create more stress. So we don't want to overwhelm anybody, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself when putting one together. The biggest thing you want to do is when you first start out is just begin by picking a regular bedtime. Create consistency. This is the most important thing for improving quality of sleep and being able to wake up with more energy to be able to take on the day, whether you're going in for whatever goals you are during your day. You have to pick a regular bedtime. I typically try to get everybody to sleep either between 10 and 10:30, and the goal is to fall asleep within 5 minutes of putting the head down onto the pillow. In traditional Chinese medicine, say the golden hour, the golden rule for falling asleep as far as the best time is usually either 10 or 10:30. So I try to confine people to try their best to try to get to sleep at that time frame. You also do not want to eat 2 hours prior to bed. You want to go to bed somewhat on an empty stomach where the body's not focusing more on digestion because that takes energy, but you want it to focus on calming down, turning off, shutting down, and getting into deeper REM cycles. So no food 2 hours before the bed. And to not overwhelm the client, what you want to do is in this little Quickenar, some of the options that I provide, you want to try and include maybe one new option each week if that's the type of approach you want to take. For some, you may be able to do 2 or 3 per week and really establish a quality routine within the first 7 days, and then obviously being consistent after that. But for some of the beginners, include just one option each week. So pick a regular bedtime between 10 and 10:30. Do not eat 2 hours before bed. And each week include one new option. Here are the options for sleep routine. Many different reasons why, many different effects that they're going to have on the body and the brain. No caffeine after 2. Shut the adrenals down. You don't want to be trying to metabolize caffeine or having the jitters or excitement prior to bed. So typically start at 2 p.m. You're just going to cut off all your caffeine intake. Around 6 o'clock, start dimming the lights or at least limiting the lights within the household itself. Light has a lot of influence on how the nervous system responds, whether it's excitatory or calming. And what we look at the day on how the light works. You're going to wake up in the morning. You have the most energy in the morning. That's where a lot of the sunlight is, and it gets to a certain peak. And then it starts dimming down to kind of bring the body's natural circadian rhythm into a shutdown mode. And so what you want to do is, since everybody's inside, especially during a time like this, start at least dimming lights if you have dimmers, or limiting the lights that you have in the house. Maybe have 1 or 2 on versus 3, 4, or 5 on. Also, what you could do is replace a lot of your lights with certain bulbs that are going to be low or no blue light exposure within them. That has a really good effect on the body for calming down, and I'll explain that in a sec. Drink a calming tea. It's not a calming tea that it's referred to, but it is certain teas and herbs that you can utilize, or flowers that when you are ingesting can manipulate the neurotransmitters in the brain to really shut down, calm down, more specifically neurotransmitters known as serotonin and GABA, really good for calming the system down. No screens 1 hour before bed. Very important. This goes with the next one and what I just spoke about with light. Limit blue light exposure. What you see with screens is when you have the blue light emitted off, you're going to accept that through the eyes, and then the brain processes it. And what happens is there's a stimulation of dopamine receptors, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain for excitement and focus and energy. And we don't want that before bed. Number 2, it's also, in a sense, the stuff that you are taking in. A lot of people get lost down those YouTube videos. that could also cause some excitement, or even just doing some sort of a movie before bed that may be a little bit more of action-filled, action-packed. That can actually excite you, and then it's going to be really hard to calm the system down before going to sleep. So if any, with everything, no screens 1 hour before bed. Next one, gratitude journal. Very important here. Journaling itself, all high-end people, very successful people, do some sort of journaling before they go to bed or wake up in the morning itself or throughout the day. It doesn't matter. But starting with a grateful journal at night will give you the practice of being grateful. Also, we can have the effect of jotting down the next day's tasks. A lot of people who have issues falling asleep are thinking too much about the future, which is anxiety, things that you're thinking about that have not happened yet, and you're trying to form this entire new storyboard. You could get lost down just thinking before you go to sleep, and I know everybody has had a moment like that where they're up for 2 hours just thinking about whatever it is that you're stressing about. So getting it down as a writing therapy or putting it on paper gets it out of the brain on paper and allows you to shut the system down. Next one is sleep mask and blackout curtains, incorporating either each or both. Both obviously being the most optimal, but one or the other being as optimal as you possibly can make your situation. This eliminates all light exposure for the most part for the body to not respond to. Another thing, for example, if you look at your TV, if you have a TV inside the room, which I recommend, get that shit out of there. You're going to look at your TV box, a VCR box, DVR box, whatever it is you have in there, old, new, whatever, modern. Those little lights, even just from the cable box, that little light and you being exposed to it can actually disrupt melatonin production, which is very important for being able to normalize your circadian rhythm, which means that it'll get you to a point where your circadian rhythm should rise high in the morning so you have your most energy. And as the day tailors off, we're going to naturally come down and go to sleep. However, that light can disrupt that circadian rhythm at night where it could get you excited, awake. And they've also done studies showing that even just putting a light in the room and shining it on the body, whether you have the mask on or not, the light itself shining on the bodies have gotten out of deep sleep cycles and actually have woken up just based on the light exposure itself. Next one, utilizing breathing. Very important for calming the system down as well. There is one protocol you can incorporate. It's called the 4-7-8 protocol. By utilizing this, you're able to fall asleep a little bit faster and only focus on one thing at a time, which is your breath. And in a sense, it is a form of meditation. 4-7-8 protocol, you breathe in your nose 4 seconds. You're going to hold the peak of the breath at 7 seconds. As you're holding for 7 seconds, you will then release that breath slowly for an 8-second count. You're going to do that multiple times, typically around 5 to 8 times. You're calm enough to fall asleep within a few minutes, or within that 5 to 7, 8 times you do it, you will be able to fall asleep while doing it as well. Next one, keeping the temperature at 68 degrees. Keep the thermostat at 68. Studies have shown that 68 specifically has been shown to be the most beneficial environment for temperature for the body to shut down, go to sleep, get into deeper sleep cycles, but also stay asleep for longer throughout the night. After you've acquired, and this is just me in my opinion, after you've acquired a few of these natural lifestyle hacks into being able to fall asleep, once you can master those, then you can incorporate things such as supplements. Two very important ones that I like to utilize, this just for an option, is magnesium and inositol. These are things that help calm the brain. It calms and balances neurotransmitters, and it also regulates blood sugar. Sorry about that, it cut out for that last part, but we finished up with supplements on the previous slide. Moving forward into a few examples. Here's an example of a sleep routine for an executive I've used in the past, okay? Executives have high threshold type days. They're constantly moving, they're constantly thinking, they're constantly going through a certain schedule. The good thing about them is that they are very schedule oriented. Every 15 minutes to 30 minutes is going to be scheduled out for them. So being very specific with them is going to work in their favor for their personality. They get home from the train typically around 7, give or take a half hour. They come home, see the kids, see their wives, or see the husbands, and then they're sitting down for dinner. And everybody sits down for dinner, which is very important. Bring the family together, especially after a long day at work. Everybody's sitting down, good quality conversation, eat your dinner. Right after dinner is done, Typically around 8 o'clock, you want to shut everything off. Now that's varied depending on what time they get back, but typically 8 p.m. they're going to shut off all food, okay, for the rest of the night. Now, most busy executives are going to work with their business emails. They're going to be answering texts, and be answering video calls, whatever it is, especially for the ones that are in different time zones of the country and of the world as well. So, for example, we have people here in New York that do business in Asia. So as New York's starting to shut down, Asia's starting to open up. So it's just one of those things where the communication is on opposite ends of the spectrum. So regardless, it's going to have to happen. So what we do is we try to improve their situation to help improve the quality of their sleep. So when they're doing all their screen work, all night shift on. Night shift's going to eliminate the blue light exposure. Also going another level, making sure that the office in their house or the office that they use, the light bulbs itself have no blue light exposure as well. Eliminate all blue light for you. If you can't and don't and would like to try the glasses, there are glasses on the market that are in an amber tone that eliminate all blue light exposure for the eyes. 9 p.m. after about an hour of doing so, want them journaling. Now they're journaling either within a grateful log or task for tomorrow or task for the following week, especially after a long day of communication and especially the hour they just went right beforehand. They want to get their ideas and their thoughts and their responses on paper. It's a good writing therapy to get a lot of the thoughts out of the brain, limit anxiety or at least worrisome or at least thoughts to just turn off, put it on paper, get it out of the brain and go to sleep. 9:30 p.m. for a lot of these guys, extremely driven, result-oriented individuals who are constantly turned on. So we have to learn to switch off. And a fast way to accelerate that is working with supplements. So inositol and magnesium bisglycinate, two combined together very well for bringing up GABA and serotonin in the brain to help promote a calming effect for the nervous system. 10 p.m., I want them falling asleep within 5 minutes of touching down on the pillow with their head. They will use the 4-7-8 breathing protocol. The breathing, as you're focusing on the numbers and the breath count, this will be a form of meditation. This will help calm them down to have the benefit of falling asleep within 5 minutes of going down onto the pillow. Always recommended, sleep mask or blackout curtains, eliminate all light. Once again, blackout curtains, eliminate the light totality from the room. And if you don't have those, even just a sleep mask, just to be able to not get the light exposure into the eyes while you're sleeping. Here's an example for an athlete, professional, collegiate, or a high level, even amateur athlete as far as an Olympian as well. They are also high performing, results driven, and constantly turned on in a physical aspect versus a brain. So being able to get the body and the brain down before going to sleep and turn the engines off is what's going to be extremely important for these athletes. And since they're schedule based, we can be a little more specific on their recommendations, especially from the half hour to the hour. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Shut it down. The adrenals don't need to be stimulated anymore after 2 p.m. 7 p.m. you're going to eat your dinner. After you eat your dinner, you put your utensils down, your plate down. You're going to go for a 10-minute walk. This is going to help promote digestion, keep the blood circulating and moving, allow the body to be in a more efficient state for when they go and shut off at night. 8 p.m., they're going to be journaling, grateful log, grateful for their coaches, their teammates, for the bed that they're sleeping in. But also I want them to be able to write down things that they're doing for people. You always, especially as an athlete, and everybody is as such, always give back. Always give back to the people that gave to you, especially with athletes. A lot of them do have sponsors. A lot of them do have people vouching for them to move forward and really putting a lot of time, effort, and energy into them to be able to become very successful as an athlete. So they have to give back by doing something each day for them. So writing that down at night gives them a sense of that accomplishment. 8:30 p.m. visualization practice. I've seen sleep quality improve based on just working on visualization of the sport, the competition, the fight, whatever it is. As a baseball player hitting off a certain pitcher, this visualization practice is also, in a sense, a form of meditation. Focusing on one thing over and over again and rehearsing it mentally can help promote performance because it can help you as far as conditioning your body to recognize certain situations you haven't seen before physically, but have seen it mentally, can improve that situation, but also have that meditative state to calm down, go to sleep. 9:30 p.m., inositol, L-theanine, great for calming the brain down. L-glutamine, very important for actually promoting and supporting the process of growth hormone response throughout the night and production, but also other hormones as well too, to help really improve recovery through the night, to be able to wake up more energy, but also have progression within their physical attributes through that day. 10 p.m., fall asleep within 5 minutes of hitting that pillow with their head. Again, sleep mask or blackout curtains recommended. Here's an example of a sleep routine for a parent. Parents are even more variable, more variable. Things are more predicated on externals. So what you want to do is try to gain as much control as you can at home with the kids, with your husband or your wife. So establishing a routine is not only good for you as an individual, for a parent, but also for your kids, so everybody can go to sleep and have more quality sleep. The kids sleep better, the parents sleep better, the parents sleep better. There's gonna be less tension in the house, as far as what I've seen with a lot of people coming in, and also personal experience as well. 6 p.m., eat dinner, give or take. 6:30, after everybody has had that quality time together, being together at the dinner table, telling stories, updating everybody on the past day. They're going to go for a 10-minute walk. This could be in the forms of a 10-minute actual walk around the block, 10 minutes outside playing around on the jungle gym or playing out in the front, or even just walking around the house and playing around the house. Nice, easy, light intensity, just walk, just get moving for 10 minutes after you eat, improve the digestion. 7:30 p.m. typically is when the parents are going to start their kids' bedtime routine. So whether they're doing homework or finishing homework, going over homework, incorporating baths, story time, whatever it may be that works for you and your kids' routine, please start establishing that, and that will get everybody onto the situation of it's time to calm down, it's time to go to sleep, getting ready. 8:30 p.m. typically the kids are either falling asleep or in bed going to sleep. So for parents, utilizing a physical book or read on a Kindle is going to be better than watching movies and watching TV shows and getting lost down the Netflix range. So my optimal recommendation would be read on a Kindle or a physical book. With the Kindle, night shift on, limit the blue light exposure. This will have a calming sense to the body because it's a different kind of visualization practice versus a computer screen or a TV screen just giving you information. You're just processing it in a different way. Also, along with that book, you want to either incorporate a hot tea. Chamomile and ginseng are actually a really good combination I've used with many clients in the past before. So that's one recommendation I could give you. And then 1 cup of oatmeal or dark fruit. Now this is or. You don't want to do both, because I've seen more positive benefits with it singled out individually versus put together. So you can either opt for the hot tea or a cup of oatmeal and dark fruit. The cup of oatmeal can help as a carb source release serotonin within the brain, that feel-good hormone, to help calm the body down and go to sleep for more quality. 10:30 p.m. Now, once again, that's a 2-hour difference here because it's very variable. After you're done reading, you may have to go fold laundry, you may have to do other household chores that you want to accomplish before bed, go and do so. But typically around that 10:30 spot, you want to fall asleep within the 5 minutes. Once again, sleep mask and black curtain recommended. So here's a little tidbit into my sleep routine. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Shut everything down after, or at least in the first half of the day of work. Shut down 2 p.m., no caffeine afterwards. From 6 p.m. on, depending on the time I get home, I'm limiting the lights, okay? I'm usually limiting to 1 to 2 lights. We also have dimmers on some of the lights, so we dim it down to kind of get that environment into more of a situation of preparing for bed and calming the system down, get a lot of light exposure out of the eyes, and then that's where the kids' bedtime routine comes into play. Especially now, we have almost a 1-month-old now. We just had a baby in April. During this coronavirus craziness. And then we also have a 2-year-old as well, and getting them on the same pattern and starting to get their continuity going has been a challenge. It's been a struggle, but bringing some sort of routine here is going to have benefits for the future as the next coming weeks come in. 8 p.m., no more food. We're shutting down. Typically we eat dinner right around 7 o'clock, give or take 7:30. And then it's routines such as bath time, story time, play time, calming down, relaxing, getting the body and getting the kids ready for bed. 8 p.m. no food, and then typically around 9 p.m. I'm reading on the Kindle or an actual book. Typically it'll be more the Kindle, so I'm always got the night shift on, but always recommended actual book. It just depends on the night. 9:30 p.m. I'm going to be specific on mine because this is my sleep routine. I've titrated. Now, inositol and taproyl magnesium or magnesium itself, you start on a lower dose and you titrate up until you get the desired result. I've gotten up to 5 and up to 10 grams of inositol. I found that 5 grams gives me exactly what I need. Anything after that is the diminishing returns. There's really no point in adjusting more. So 5 grams for me has worked really well. 4 pumps topical magnesium. It is a cream. A lot of places are holding it now, so you can acquire it. You can go get it, or you can have a compound pharmacist actually make it for you. 4 pumps, most important, on skin with least amount of hair for optimal absorption. That will help knock me out every single time. 10 p.m., give or take, I'm usually laying the head down out in 5 minutes, okay? Sleep mask and blackout curtains, always recommended. In conclusion, I hope this is all helpful. Please, I would like to hear back from you. I want your feedback, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Please let me know, share, comment, bookmark, if it's worth it and if it's high quality for you. And that feedback will also get me putting together more for the future. So I look forward to seeing you again. Stay strong.